there's a lot of buzz. I mean, and as I see the buzz, I also see a lot of people who are confused.
I think 3 to 4 months down the line, the boy put his foot down saying that I hate physics, I hate maths, I hate chemistry. If you talk about the US, especially, they stopped teaching automobile engineering. When I was in corporate, we had a very popular phrase. And we used to say that beta jhoot bol sakta hai, data nahi. Into say University of Chicago in the economics program. You know what? Who's teaching you economics there? He's Raghuram Rajan. If you look at Indian scenario, we don't have much opportunities. We don't allow students to do a research, right? I think today close to about 2 lakh Indian students goes to US.
Afternoon, everybody, and welcome to yet another podcast on business networking with Vipul Bondal. So, as you may have understood, over a period of time, we invite guests from various professions. In the process, try and understand how they have their journey, as well as to get a understanding of what they do. Most of the people who come on this podcast are, in fact, all of them are avid networkers. They indulge in some sort of business networking. In this context, I want to bring in someone who's a little different from the guests we've had so far. As you know, overseas education today has gained a lot of importance in India. Uh, Almost every family today has some of their young students studying in some part of the world or other. Many parents aspire to send their kids abroad to study and earn a degree because you know getting a good degree today has become, you can say, the opening to a great corporate career, and also to a lot of entrepreneurs who have studied. In fact, being a dropout out of an Ivy League college is also considered a great thing to have on your CV today if you want to be an entrepreneur and do well in Silicon Valley. So however, getting into these universities is not easy. So I have today someone with me who has helped, hold your breath, 8,500, in fact over 8,500 students of his studying in various who have studied in various universities over a period of time. He has transformed their lives. uh, Please allow me to welcome Vijay Sonawane.
Hey, thank you, Vipul, and thank you for having me here. And thank you, Thinkly.
A brief background of Vijay Sonawane to the Thinkly audience. A lot of the people on Thinkly know him very well because he is also a community host. He has over 30 years experience of guiding ambitious students towards academic and occupational excellence. He is a seasoned higher education consultant with a proven track record of securing admission for students in the world's top 100 universities. His holistic approach leverages his background in counseling psychology and advanced career guidance certifications to empower students at all levels. So, his students are at undergraduate level, graduate level, and also at doctoral levels across the globe. And his students are in various parts of the world, which is in the USA, UK, Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, and other places. And he helps them make informed career choices and achieve exceptional academic outcomes. So, like I said, he's got and he's managed to help more than 8,500 students over the years get admitted into the best universities in the world. And he's mastered the art. So, if there's anybody who understands getting admissions into international universities and in the right way, that's Vijay Sonawane. Welcome, Vijay.
Thank you, Vipul.
So, Vijay, before we talk about how to make a career by going in for academic, let's understand your career. I mean, how did you get into this profession? What makes you tick, and how did you start this whole process? If you can just tell us briefly about it.
So, Vipul, I mean, you're making me nostalgic. Okay. So, well, I mean, I had a very fulfilling career with the corporate. I was working with an American MNC and doing very well. I was considered as as a very good people's manager then.
Right.
Okay, and so a couple of indicator to it is that being in finance industry, it's a very high pressure industry, as you know.
Correct.
My attrition rate was almost negligible, almost zero, and I received constantly various accolades from HR and from my top bosses.
All right.
So being in a high stress industry and not having attrition was something was very unique with
Right.
me. People never left me. And in the whole process, so whenever I got a feedback from my bosses and from the HR folks, they were telling me that, yes, you have a good coaching skills and you are very empathetic and compassionate with them. But actually, I was not. But yeah, I was very hard, hard on, getting the numbers done. But at the
Right.
same time, at the end of the day, we were friends and we were talking, and so people were very open with me, and as a result of which we achieved a great success. I always believed in Geo or Ginedo, okay, and together we can really do well.
Right.
And we were in a top quartile performance, pan India. So it was a rocking team, right? So what happened was, like, when my kids were growing up and when my son was in 10th grade, so we kind of sought a help from some career counselor. Okay, and I sat through the whole process, and it was very interesting, very intriguing, and at the same time, it was very eye-opening process. Okay, so I was on the consumer side then,
All right.
right? And but then that thought really lingered in me for a while, and somehow, as you know, that in corporate, the how the burnouts are. And then I was also thinking of starting of something of my own. So then I thought of the opportunities and all, and I never wanted to do something what I was doing. Okay, and then suddenly something clicked, and I said, why not this particular space? Because I have a coaching skills, and then I can guide better. So I think this industry can really suit my strengths, and this is how I got into it. Yeah. And but at the same time, I said, let me do it, or rather, let me get it in a systematic manner. As a corporate guy, typically we have done a lot of research, and I said, okay, fine. There are certain areas where I need to, kind of enhance my knowledge, skills, and aptitude, and
Right.
therefore I went in for a post graduation in counseling psychology. Went all over the world to get and seek, I mean, sort the certifications and the knowledge and everything, right? And this is how I got into it. Okay, and now it's been almost like what 15 plus years. Okay, I'm helping students, and I'm really happy that I have a very fulfilling career at this point in time, and it's a very rocking career. Uh, I have students coming from all over the world, as you mentioned.
Right.
I think my practice as a professional, I say that this is not my business, this is my practice, and
Oh,
my practice is going leaps and bound, and it's all is from word of mouth. Every client of mine is giving me referral, or rather they're kind of advising their peers and their family members and everyone around them to come and have a dialogue with me, and that's how it is happening. Because what is more important is that understanding this particular space,
right.
and no one can imagine that a finance guy doing well in education. That's about me and this short journey.
Superb. So, Vijay, I just wanted to ask you. I mean, your students are not necessarily only from Mumbai or India, right? I mean,
Yes.
your customers or your students, if I may use the word, can be from anywhere in the world because
Yes, absolutely.
the criteria, I'm sure, remain the same for whether the student is from India or whether the student is from China or wherever the student.
Yeah.
So your consultancy, I'm sure, is available online.
Yes, it is. It is available. Vipul, and just would like to add to it that I basically help students at three levels. One is at undergrad level. One is at graduation, that is post graduation. In India, we call it as a post graduation, and for a PhD,
Yes.
PhD level.
Yeah.
Yeah. And mostly my interaction with the student is online. So I have students from Gulf countries, from Singapore, Malaysia, US, UK, and all these places.
Right.
Okay, and it's going absolutely fine. So yeah.
Okay, so I if you can tell us what kind of a demand. I mean, you mentioned that the various levels that at which you offer consulting. Also, so there's a lot of buzz. I mean, and as I see the buzz, I also see a lot of people who are confused of what to do, how to go about it. Uh, so can you give us an idea of what is the kind of courses or streams that you see a lot of demand for, or which are the countries that people want to go for, and how do you help them choose?
So yeah, before I answer that question fully,
Sure.
but I'll just tell you that at the core of it, I'm a career counselor.
Right.
Yeah. And so my entire research and my entire background now is more on the career space and advising student to handpick the right curriculum, right course, and the right university, right? And in order to do that, I run a couple of psychometric assessments with them so that they understand what are their strengths, what are their personality, what are their career interest, career motivator, their skills and abilities, and a lot of other these parameters, because these parameters really help me to understand students' profile and as to what are students' capacities, and then choose. Because see, now what happens is, like, in India, typically, we have certain social myths. And these social myths are like, okay, engineering is good, medicine is good, and stuff like that. But these assessment really helps us to understand what is your core. And I'll give you one interesting example which happened a couple of years back. And why it is so interesting, because you'll understand. So the parents both were from the tech side.
Right.
Okay, so father is a double IITian, in the sense he has done his his undergraduation as well as graduation from IIT Bombay and IIT Kharagpur. Okay, so the core technology guy. Mom was a PhD holder in biotechnology, studied in US, right? And the boy is brilliant. Okay, he scored close to about, if I'm correct, 94, 95% in his 10 board. And so by default, they put him in the engineering preparation, right? I think 3 to 4 months down the line, the boy put his foot down, saying that I hate physics, I hate maths, I hate chemistry. Okay, now which are the essential, core competencies that are required for engineering education, right? And when he showed that kind of a displeasure with the subject, the parents were obviously were worried, and they tried their best in counseling or whatever, educating him as to why engineering is the best career, etc., etc. However, he didn't budge, right? So they came to me. We had a discussion. We took him through the whole psychometric assessment, and you know what? He actually, his profile was most suitable for business. Okay, and that too, particularly on a communication side, he was very strong,
Right.
right? Because while his parents were talking to me, they were more on the agitating side. They were trying to convince, or rather convince me to convince him that why engineering is so good.
Right.
And at the same time, the student was putting up his pointers so well, so structured, in a very structured manner,
Okay.
right? And then the whole discussion happened. Now today I'm really happy to tell you that, okay, he has not gone abroad, but this student is now currently studying at one of the prestigious universities in India, that is called as the Shivnadar University.
Another.
He's pursuing his business course. He's been last couple of years, terms, semesters. He's been a dean scholar list and doing fantastically well. And maybe for masters now he will go abroad. Yeah. So that's the way, it is very important, right? Well, now coming to the buzz around overseas education. Okay. Yeah, those so STEM courses are very popular,
Same of
right? When I'm
Correct.
saying STEM, it is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And today, the buzzword is AI. Okay, so artificial intelligence, data science, machine learning, cybersecurity. These are very, very popular courses, and almost like every student who comes to me, wants to get into this particular space. So this is one very, very, I would say, the hot careers today. Yeah. Okay. At the same time, like traditional, you have medicine. A lot of student wants to go for a medicine, and
Correct.
especially to UK, US, and Canada because their medicine education is really good.
Right.
Okay. Again, business has been a very, very popular course. So people go for MBA. Okay. And especially if you want to go for a top universities, top business schools, most of the top business schools are in the US, right? So there are very popular courses. But at the same time, now recently, there's a spike in sort of, student going for finance who wants to get into investment banking and stuff like that. They would like to get into entrepreneurship programs because entrepreneurship programs are also in demand. Now, luxury brand management. These are typically, these are like very, very in demand kind of a course. Of course, post pandemic, the entire health side, biotechnology, biochemistry, all your public policy, health, all these are very, very, I would say, prominent courses. At the same time, on the humanity side, psychology is gaining a lot of popularity today. New branches like neuropsychology, cognitive psychology are in demand. A lot of students wants to go for their master's program, okay, which are where they require very good research kind of courses. So obviously, these universities offer. Design is again a very popular space today.
Okay.
Then animation, gaming, VFX, UI, UX is again a very, very big space. Law, again, law. We know that right from all our freedom fighter have gone to maybe UK in those days to become a
Barrister.
barrister. So even that trend is still on. Okay, and so a
Okay.
lot of people are going for law to pursue. Right, hospitality is again very popular, especially you go to Switzerland, Australia, Canada, right? So a lot of folks, after their graduation here, those who are coming from IHMs are going for a master's culinary
Okay.
art. Okay, right. And I'm really happy that many of our Indian chefs are now becoming Michelin star chefs.
All
Okay,
right.
so thanks to their exposure, I mean their global exposure. So these are the some I would say very, very popular kind of streams and where student wants to go and have a good research, good quality education, contemporary education. This is again very important because all these universities are curating very contemporary courses. So you'll be surprised, Vipul, if I tell you that now, if you talk about US, especially, they stopped teaching automobile engineering.
Okay.
Yeah, those courses are not there. If you want to do automobile engineer, they don't have a course to study automobile engineer. Why? Because there's a huge disruption in the automobile industry now. Cars are becoming electrical. They are expected to run on chips and stuff like that. So there's no use of technology which you are going to learn, and hence they've rather phased out these courses. Yeah. So this contemporary
It becomes
education.
part of a larger uh, design course, perhaps.
Yes, 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 yes.
Fantastic. I mean, that's a lot of new things which a lot of people don't know. How did you handle that? Those parents, the double IIT father and the mother who was so because typically parents also come with a little bit of their own expectations.
Yeah.
So how in this particular case, how did you handle the parents' expectations? Or did they accuse you कि आपने मेरे बच्चे को गलत direction में भेज दिया?
See what happens is, yes, this is a bit emotional thing for parents as well as at times even for student, right? But when I was in corporate, we had a very popular phrase, and we used to say that "beta झूठ बोल सकता है, data नहीं." Okay, so when I talk to the parents, I basically seek help of data because all these psychometric assessment really give us a good profiling all those data points, and then at the end of the day, see, even despite you're being emotional, but somewhere you also have a rational mind.
Right.
Okay, And when you talk about data, the students and with the parents, they really understand that.
Correct.
Okay. And therefore, I always tell them that, see, my job is not to convince you. Okay. But my job is to tell you what are the opportunities, and not necessarily that, you'll become successful only through engineering stream,
Right.
right? I mean, we know a lot of folks who have been successful and they come from a very different or a diverse backgrounds as well. Yeah. So I think that that becomes quite easy, and with so many counseling interventions, I think it's quite easy now.
Okay, so I'll have one question before, and after that we will move on to a lot of questions which have come on the community. It just exploded with questions. So I have just one question to complete this question that I asked you. So, which countries do you see, or is it a country specific trend? Because I was talking to Dipesh the other day, and he was he is in the he helps families to immigrate. So there, there are a specific set of countries where people want to immigrate. Is there that trend in studying also? I mean, do people want to study only in the US, or do they want to study only in the UK, or things like that? I believe a lot of East European countries also these days, a lot of Indians travel to these countries to study. I mean, have you seen that trend?
Yes, yes. As we discussed, people, why people go abroad, so a couple of drivers. One is the quality of education. Okay, as I said, you get a very good contemporary courses. You get a great opportunity, research opportunities. I mean, you can have professors which are so stellar. I mean, just imagine, for example, you got to admit into, say, University of Chicago in the economics program. You know what? Who's teaching you economics there? He's Raghuram Rajan.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So you have such kind of professors, right? And so this is very important that and this is terrific, I would say, right? Obviously, then you get you kind of rub shoulders with very diverse background. See, especially if you look at students from Southeast Asia, China, and Singapore and Hong Kong, such a brilliant lot of students. Okay, they're thinking very differently, right? Okay, their cognitive abilities are very high. So when you are in such groups, obviously, you yourself get lifted.
Right.
Yeah. So you have terrific opportunity to network, to collaborate, to work on projects. Okay. So that's one. Obviously, you get great career opportunities, right? Okay. So these are the reason, why students go for it. So obviously, as you said, yes, trends are also there. There are certain I would say facts, which support those trends. So I would say that, say today, if you look at US, okay, and this is where I work a lot, because if you look at those top 100 universities, almost like 50% universities are from US, right? So it's a largest economy, uh, you know, 20 almost like $25 trillion economy. Their universities are like very old. They have established themselves, right? They have a terrific research faculty. See, now if you look at Indian scenario, we don't have much opportunities, barring few universities like IITs and maybe NITs. We don't allow students to do a research, right? Okay, our research is largely with the government agencies, yeah. Whereas these folks, do a lot of and it's not that for sake of doing it. They do live projects. So if I tell you that, if you look at, say, for example, Michigan University or Caltech, the undergraduate students are working on live projects which are given by NASA, right? I mean, you don't say that, oh, they are just very young, they're just 19-year-old and 20 years old. Do they have a maturity to handle such kind of project? Yeah, they do. Yeah. So you have this kind of an opportunity. So they are terrific universities. Okay. I mean, to an extent that I become a little biased when it comes to US, right? They have a lot of money. These universities have a lot of money, though they charge a lot of fees. and I'll come to that as well a little later. But they offer you, and they offer you terrific grants for research. The moment they see a talent in you, they are going to support you, because that country itself is a very meritocratic country.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is very, very important. And so, especially when it comes to business, when it comes to STEM and all such kind of an even psychology, US is one of the best. I think today close to about 2 lakh Indian students goes to US, if I'm correct. Number I may be a little bit here and there. Today we have almost 1.8 million students are studying abroad,
Right.
right? So 2 lakh are in US. The US also offer you post work permit to an extent of 3 years if it is a STEM course or it is a STEM designated course, right? In Canada, again, Canada was a very, very popular destination. Okay, I think there was a time where more students wanted to go to Canada for a very simple reason that their immigration policies were very simple. Okay, and you can become a PR holder or a citizen quite early, right? But again, good education, very quality education. So Canada was again one of the popular destination. UK, yes, almost in between when they shut down their work permits, the inflow dropped, but now again it is coming back to UK. So UK always been a very, very popular destination. You'll be surprised that how parents think. They say, oh, there's a travel time is less, so I want my son or a daughter to be in UK because it's just 9 hours flight and I can reach UK. Then also obviously Australia, again one of the best destination, weather wise, everything. Canada is a little extreme on the weather side, but otherwise it's a fantastic country. A very small population. Okay, so total population of Canada is, I think, if I'm correct, it's 7 crore. That's it. Yeah, maybe if you add Mumbai and Pune together in the whole of
That will
Canada.
be, yeah,
Yeah,
that
and
will be the
it is the second largest country. Yeah, 93% of the territory is virgin. So that's a beautiful country. Yeah. Then Australia, Germany. In Germany, in between, a lot of folks have started going to Germany because their public university, if you have a good credential, their public university will give you 100% scholarship.
Right.
What you need to pay is only the semester fees. Okay, but the recently there's a some negative thing because of the taxation. It's very high tax in Germany. A lot of folks wants to uh, rather migrate to some other countries because the taxation can go as high as 65%.
Wow.
Okay, we are nothing less than that, but maybe this is the perception, right? Germany, then New Zealand. In the recent time, even Ireland has picked up quite well. It's a small country, but yes, it's becoming very popular with students. So these are the countries, yeah, where students primarily go. Nowadays, even some universities have also opened their shops in Dubai and all these places. Like good universities like Birmingham, which falls in top 100 on the QS rank, have their now
Campus.
in Dubai. So yeah, these are the trend. But largely, if you ask me, four topmost countries are US, UK, Canada, and Australia, maybe.
So, okay, so we'll take a couple of questions from the community which have been asked. And there are
So,
at least 15 questions which are there on the community. So I'll begin with two. So this one is from Aisha Patel. Her
mhm.
question is, what specific qualities do top universities look for in application?
Okay. Whoever is your favorite superstar, superhero, okay, right? You need to be like that, literally, right? Now, why I'm saying so? Because these top universities are highly competitive university, and they want you as a superstar, literally, right? They're not just looking at the grades. Okay, of course they want good grades, okay, competitive grades, but they want to look at you as a whole person, right? They just don't want to admit academic nerd. They want to also check whether you are a human, Okay, whether you have a leadership quality, can you work in the collaboration? Do you have an empathy or a compassion for your society? All these things are very, very important. They also check whether you have a capacity to take the larger academic load. Do you have a research capacities? Okay, so they talk a lot about capacities, and there are various ways and means through which you can actually prove that yes, you are a competitive student, right? So it's not one or two, but maybe more. Okay, it's because they look at you very, very holistically. Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, I think so. And there's a related question from Siddharth Gupta. The question is, he says, "Hello, sir. I wanted to know how important are extracurricular activities compared to academic performance." So I think you've answered that it's not only the
Yes,
academics,
yes, yes,
and
yes,
having softer
yes.
skills like leadership and research capability and
Yeah,
ability to
yes.
uh,
So I just wanted to add
sure,
to
go ahead.
it, Vipul. You see, somewhere in the early 1994, Daniel Goleman came up with the concept of emotional intelligence. And the first book through which he introduced this concept, he said why it is important or more critical than IQ, right? So if you consider IQ as your academic proficiency, right? EQ is your leadership, your humanistic approach, empathy, blah 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 blah, ability to connect with other people and everything. Now today, research tells you that emotional intelligence is a success predictor. As much as 85% of your life success can come from emotional intelligence, right? It is so important. So they just wanted to see whether you have IQ, EQ, SQ, and all those questions that are available in the world. Yeah, and they are exhibited through your extracurricular activities, right? Now, most important thing what you need to understand is that not just any random extracurricular activity, right? When I mentor student, we go with the plan, okay, and it's not plan that our plan is not to impress university. No, it's the plan is that who are you and whether that activity is in sync with your goal, your objective, and who you are. Okay, so that's very, very important.
Let's first take Vinod Deshmukh's question. So, his question is, how can students demonstrate resilience and adaptability in their applications? So, like the qualities that you mentioned, how can they demonstrate that in their applications? And
Yeah,
Varun has a question which I think is more or less related. He says, what trends are currently shaping the admissions process at top universities? Maybe you might want to just answer these two. So,
okay,
first is, how do you demonstrate your capabilities, and also the question of what are the current trends in the admission process that you're observing?
right, right. So, okay, if I have to answer this little in brief, so when you make application to these universities, every element of that application, they look at it very seriously. Okay. So yes, of course, you have extracurricular activities and all those projects and research and stuff like that. Okay. But every university is going to ask couple of writing things from you, like statement of purpose. Okay. As to why you are coming to that particular university, why you would like to pursue this particular course. And this is very, very different from our culture. Our culture is a grade driven. Say, for example, if you are in All India top 50 student, you go to any IIT and you can demand the course.
Right.
And no one is going to stop you. No one can dare to stop you, rather. Right? You can actually absolutely tell them this is what I want. Okay? Right? But there, and you can say, oh, I want mechanical engineering, I want electrical engineering, I want computer science engineering. No one will ask you question. But they want to know why. Right? So you need to create a purpose. Right? What is your statement of purpose? So for people, statement of purpose is it's a very, very critical document in the whole process, right? And in your statement of purpose and other essays, they wanted to know beyond academics, right? They want to know who you are, as I said. And in the whole process, when you're telling your story, okay, obviously your adaptability, your resilience, all those flavor reflect, right? You cannot just write on resume that yes, I have a high resilience. No, you have to convince, you have to rather impress, influence admission officer through your story, okay? And therefore these essays become very, very critical. Another way it can be conveyed to the admission committee is your letter of recommendations, right? What your recommenders are talking about you, right? I mean, is it a standard recommendation letter which your college release, or is that a customized one? Okay. I mean, I have gone to the college with my students. We met the professors. We told them that, sir, what is that we expect you to write? I mean, obviously, uh, that student had that kind of a caliber, but we just went and highlighted that to the professor, sir. These are the things which student has done. So if you can mention, it will really add value, right? So these are the couple of documents, okay, or couple of components through which you can show what's your resilience, whether you are adaptable, whether you can work in a collaboration, whether you have empathy, compassion, blah, blah, blah.
Super. And that will answer Pratik's question also. Pratik had a similar question. His question was, what are the most important factors that prestigious colleges consider in admissions? So, Vijay, you answered that question as well. So, thank you very much. So, when it comes to the preparation process, or even in terms of the financials, when it comes to I'm talking purely with the admission process here. I'm sure there's a difference between when it comes to Ivy League colleges versus in other universities. So, can you, I know if you get into it, probably require a whole podcast, maybe a series of podcasts to be able to tell us. But if you can just briefly cover what is the difference between, let's say, going for an Ivy League, one of the top 50 universities that you mentioned, versus not in the top 50, if I can say that. So, what is the difference? I mean, not just in terms of the process and what to look for, but also in terms of the financials. If you can just give us a little idea about that.
Yeah. Okay. So, Vipul, if you look at these top universities, okay, so we'll talk from a US standpoint. So it's easy to give example and all that. See, if you look at Ivy League, okay, so what is the Ivy League? Ivy League are all those prestigious eight school, which is like Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Columbia, UPenn, University of Pennsylvania, Brown University, Dartmouth College, and Cornell. Okay, so these are the eight colleges considered as very prestigious. Okay, but apart from that, there are also private schools. Okay, private universities, they are equally good, are at par with Ivy, or even they are far better than some of the Ivies. Okay, for example, Stanford, right? University of Chicago, MIT. MIT is not Ivy League, but it's far better than Ivy League, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, some of the Ivy Leagues, yeah. Then you have Caltech, right? So Michigan is a public university, but it's still far. University of Berkeley, it's a land grant university, but it's at par. Yeah, UCLA. So what is important is that when you look at these universities and if you look at their alumni network, one thing what you need to understand is that they have created movers and shakers of the world, right? See, today, effortlessly, we are talking on Zoom,
Correct.
right? So who invented internet?
Right.
Internet got invented on UCLA campus. Okay? Facebook happened on Harvard campus, right? So they have created movers and shakers of the world, and they gave them, or rather, they facilitate that process, right, of becoming, right? Okay, so obviously they are going to look at you very, very differently, right? Their admit rates are very, very stiff, right? It can vary from 2.5% to 6%, 7%. That's it, right? So they are going to, whatever I explained earlier, they are going to look at each and every application very thoroughly, right? It goes through round. I mean, at times, some of the universities, at least 3, 4 people go through your application line by line, right? Okay, they discuss because each year, every university, especially these top universities, okay, they decide what kind of cohort they want. How many males, how many females, what's the work experience they are looking at, what's kind of a diversity they would like to have. So it's a very complex process. So they just try to see whether you are the right fit, you are the right match.
Right.
Okay, right? And that is conveyed through application process only, right? Then happens the shortlisting, and then you are gone for for example, say interview process and everything. You will not believe, for example, in MIT, right? You know, even their alumni, they are a part of the admission process, and they have always every year, they have close to about 3,500 alumni volunteering for the application process,
Oh,
admission process, right? So they are going to look at you. It's like, I always have an analogy. It's marriage,
I'm
right?
sure. Yeah.
How much
Probably
care
marriage is
you
easier.
you will take to find your partner, they will do the same thing. Yeah. So that's one. Second, yes, of course. So again, so what happens is that process gets diluted as you go down.
Correct.
Okay, right? Um, uh, so this is the way they look at it, right? Secondly, when it comes to costing, okay, so we'll discuss only about the tuition part of it, okay, just to get an idea. So in the US, you have largely, you have close to about 4,500 universities, okay, and these universities are divided into 4 groups. You can say one is Ivy League University, which are a private universities. So we can have one group as Ivy, one group as a private other than Ivy.
Right.
Then we have a land grant universities, and we have, say, public universities.
Right.
Right. So Ivy League universities, your annual tuition fee can be in the range of $60,000 to $67,000. This is tuition for per year. Okay. If you're going for undergraduation, then it is multiplied by 4.
Right.
Now, for example, Harvard will fees will be in the range of, suppose, say, $63,000. Yale will be around $65,000. Princeton will be maybe $61,000. Columbia will cost you again $67,000. So depend again. There is no, I would say, a
Range.
same structure. Each university, they calculate and they put it across. So private universities, as I said, you may have a Stanford may charge you 60,000, but MIT may charge you 57,000. Okay, Duke may charge you 61,000. Northwestern can charge you maybe more.
Correct.
All of them 63,000. In land grant university, you have range of from 30,000 to 60,000 again. Right, sorry, 40,000, 45,000. Like for example, you have University of Berkeley, UC Berkeley may cost you $44,000. Whereas UIUC, that is University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, may cost you $36,000, and Texas A&M may cost you $40,000. Right. In public university, the range can be from 25,000 to 35,000. Even there are some public university, they can even cost you little lesser than that as well. But like Michigan Harbor, as I said, can cost you 55,000, yet it is a public university, right? And if you look at Virginia, it may charge you $56,000, but University of Florida can charge you 28,000. So it depends, right? Because they have that kind of an autonomy. Government don't indulge into it, right? And so these are the fees which I told you. They are for international students and not for the local
Okay.
students. Local students, they have a lot of concessions available. Yeah. And as an international student, you're only qualified in to a large extent, only qualified for a merit scholarships. Yeah. Right. So this is the way the fees are structured, right? But at the same time, if your application is meritocratic application, there is an opportunity for you to earn a lot of scholarship. Okay. Uh, and our student have got a lot of good scholarship. Yeah.
And I'm sure
Yes.
you'll guide them along the way on how to go about it, not only from the admission process, but also applying for the scholarships and for their various.
Yeah. Correct. So let me just pitch in here. See, most of these universities, okay, their scholarships are based on your application.
Correct.
You need not to submit any additional document.
Right.
When you get an offer, you also get a scholarship offer. There are very few universities may ask you to apply for certain scholarships, and for that you may have to write separate essays and your letter of intent and stuff like that.
Correct.
But there are very few universities. Most of the scholarship happen automatically.
Okay, so and in terms of the process, I mean, let's say there's a parents who want to send their child abroad. How much in advance uh, should they start planning this process? Because I'm sure there's a lot of preparation time which goes in. So, how much in advance do you think one should start?
Okay. Now I would say again this will vary.
Okay.
Vary in the sense depending on your goal. For example, if the student is very meritocratic, okay, and has a potential to get into very top universities, even to an extent of an Ivy League or a certain private or land grant like UC Berkeley, etc. Then, so if you ask me, I would love to start working with that student right from ninth grade. Okay, right? Because of 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. All right. Okay, so these are I almost get 3.5 year to work with student. That much time, because as I said, you require a lot of time. For example, if you have to write certain standardized exams, okay, like for example, undergrad, if you have to give example of undergrad, see if you have to write SAT. Now, SAT preparation can be of 3 to 4 months because at the end of the day, since you are applying for such universities, your score has to be very good. I mean, very good to an extent that out of 1600, your score needs to be 1550 plus, right? So you require a good time to prepare, right? One, right? Sometime if you are not from IG or IB, then maybe I can ask you to write few more exams like AP, etc., right? Which itself can add to your preparation time, right? Even a simple English proficiency test may require 2 to 3 months, right? Plus there are certain projects. So that's the reason that if your goal is to get into a very top university, you need to have three years in hand,
Yes.
right? Okay, because that's inevitable, right? Because you in for the overseas education, you cannot suddenly decide and go.
Correct. That I'm sure. Yeah. So 3 years is a ballpark time. It could vary. It could be a little higher. It could be a little lower. But 3 years is good enough time to actually start the process. And you also help with how to prepare for the SAT and for other things. Or is
Yes,
that
Vipul,
the
we
main?
do. Yes.
Other than your psychometric
Yeah,
test?
in the sense, yeah, I mean, I have a consortium. So basically, these are the experts who help student to work on these exams.
Okay. Okay, so let's take one question from the community yet again. Okay, so this is a very interesting question, and it's from Lavanya. So her question is it essential to connect with a consultant for studies abroad, or can I manage the application process on my own?
Yes, you can absolutely. Yeah, there are many students who does that.
Thanks for asking this question, Lavanya, because it's important sometimes that we understand that fully. Okay, so now, Vijay, our main reason why we are talking today is because, like I mentioned at the start, we are also a business networker. Effectively doing business networking in a very systematic way to help grow your business. So tell me, how has business networking helped you in your business?
Yeah, I mean, see, what happens is like if you're doing good, in the sense, good. For me, it's more than business. It's kind of on my mission, right? Obviously, I earn my livelihood out of that. Okay, and there's no denial to it. Yeah, but if I'm doing a good work, I want to reach out to maximum people, right? I wanted to go and tell them or rather enroll them in the communication that as to what I do and how I can add value, right? Now, I cannot do that in sitting in silos, right? And obviously, I need to go out at times, not every day perhaps, okay? But yes, I need to go and talk to people, right? Yes, for one is to create a visibility, of course, right? And that's very, very important because, I mean, it just then it just multiplies, it's just spread, right? But at the same time, over a period of time, I have also seen or rather experienced that I also gain a lot of insights because I come across with a lot of people, right? I'm a networker across. It's yes, BNI. Of course, you talked about BNI, and I'm a very, I would say, a proud member of BNI. If I would have not taken a break in between, I would have been a 13 years member with BNI. Yeah. But I also go and network with like-minded people, people from my own rather industry, because we can exchange a lot of ideas, we can gain a lot of insights, we can learn and come up with a lot of new resources and things like that, right? Okay, I and therefore I go on a lot of these networking platform, understand and act as a student, okay, in these particular scenarios and learn and also self-reflect as to what we need to do next, and understand your focus. So at the same time, we also come across with people like business coaches and stuff like that, and they tell us that, yes, of course, though I say it's my mission and stuff like that, at the end of the day, it is a business, yeah, and it also needs to be handled and processed in a particular manner. So a lot of insights, a lot of mentoring is available and all that. Yes, so I think I'm immensely grateful for all these kind of networking platforms. Yeah.
And you've been, I mean, and not just as a member, you've been part of the leadership team on a few.
Yes, of course. Yes.
And so how? So just walk us through your BNI experience. How has it contributed to your business in addition to getting you new opportunities, which you already mentioned, but being on the leadership team, how has it helped you?
Well, so I mean, thanks to BNI, first of all, because BNI has taught me how to network, right? It's the largest networking organization in the world, okay, with I think more than 3 lakh plus members across 70 odd cities. It's a great and it's a very structured, it's an American organization. And as I said, I have a due respect to all the American organization. When it comes to system, when it comes to processes, you just cannot beat them. Yeah, it's a member driven organization. But it is running so successfully. Yeah. So it has taught me how to network, and there are so many I mean training programs I've gone through, how to network, how to talk. I think today if I'm doing a bit better, it's all because of that kind of a training exposure. That's one. BNI also gives you immense leadership opportunities. So you can take different roles. You can also kind of become a contributor in the whole process. The biggest part of BNI is givers gain. So you also kind of develop that attitude of giving,
Mhm.
because otherwise, at the core of it, we all are very self-centered. No, We just want something for us, right? Me, mine, myself. We are not thinking beyond that. But I think BNI is basically, as really imbibing those values in me, and therefore I really regard this organization for its value system, right? And so I've also worked with many organizations and great organizations. So each organization have a vision, mission, and the value system. But I think BNI is one organization. They are day in day out. They are living their value system. Okay. And that's the reason that I have over a period of time also developed certain values. Okay, in and through which I operate day to day basis. Yeah. So yes, of course. I mean, thanks to BNI and thanks to Ivan Meisner for creating such a great organization for all of us.
Okay, super. So, Vijay, I had asked you for 1 hour of your time, and we have, I think, taken up that full 1 hour. But I can't let go of you before I ask you one last question. Uh,
Sure, no
so,
problem. As long as our audience is happy, I don't mind extending it for maybe another 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah.
okay? So, Vijay, what's your vision for the future? And and if you would have some parting advice, like they say, one for the road. So, if you have any uh, parting advice that you would like to give to aspirants of overseas education?
Okay. So on this, I become little emotional whenever someone asks me this question. Uh, See, I'll just tell you in a sense, I've got into this process of consulting, guiding student and everything. I feel two things, that I have helped someone to find his true north, right? Okay, that's one. Second, I'm also doing a sort of a nation building or to an extent that world building. Why I'm saying that, I'm helping student to get into that kind of an environment where they can thrive and, flourish,
Right.
right? Okay, so and that gives me immense satisfaction. You just cannot, ask more,
True.
right? That's one. So obviously, so my vision is to continue to expand my reach. Okay, go to maximum student and contribute to their success, right? Uh, because at the end of the day, I can just be one party to the entire process. It's always a collaboration, and it's a collaboration between me, student, and the family, and to some extent to a school, right? So be a part of that small contributor in the whole process, that ecosystem, right? And help them, thrive. So that's one. So outreach is very important, and therefore I would like to be a part of that, right? At the same time, offer quality research to the students.
Right.
Okay, as well as enhance certain automations and everything at our end, so that we can outreach. We can do that outreach in a most organized manner. We can engage them. Okay, and so, uh, being more innovative, more data driven, we need to keep or rather have a cognizance of what is happening around us. Chat GPT and such kind of disruptive technologies. We have disruptive business models. We have disruptive, I would say, geopolitical stuff. So in these disruption or in these VUCA world, how do you remain relevant is a challenge for myself, and I think I would like to put my best efforts towards that. uh, okay, when it comes to okay, parting advice, pardon me, just sounding a little more philosophical,
Okay.
but students, if you are a student, be a student, in the sense, understand the ethics of it, right? That it's very important to understand what is expected out of you at each and every role. Your parents' role is to provide you, to motivate you, to care for you. And as a student, your job is to do a best education, right? Grades will vary here and there, but be a good student. Be very, very authentic to yourself. Okay, so be ethical. That's my one advice. When it comes to overseas education, yes, as I said, that it's a very long process. So start early. Okay. Right. Understand what is that you want to do and why you want to do. Right. If you're going abroad, what is your objective? Right. When these universities understand what kind of a course you would like to do, because it's you have a terrific combination in the sense that you may get a computer science degree as a BA in computer science as well as BS in computer science. Understand which degree is the most suitable for you, right? Okay, right from day one, start behaving in a manner that you would like to achieve a great future opportunities, right? So network with people, be nice with professors, be very attentive, don't get into other indulgences more. Yeah, don't concentrate more on their part-time jobs, because they will give you just small help just to stay afloat, right? But your objective, if you're going there, is to study well, be in a dean scholar list, earn scholarships, do good research, etc. Right? Do that. Okay, right? Earn your livelihood, little bit of efforts. Yeah, enhance your experience. Stay organized because the whole process of university is very different. The way they teach you is very different, and therefore, being organized is very very important, right? Because there are so many student bodies, organization, clubs and societies, to an extent of some university will have 500 clubs, right? Understand which are the club that are most that will matter the most, etc. Right? And seek guidance. Yeah, I mean, be open, right? Okay, because the in philosophy they says when student is ready, master appear. If you are of that nature, they will people will come into your realm and they will help you. I think that's all.
That's all. Thank you so much, Vijay. I mean, that was brilliant and fascinating. I mean, not only from a professional guidance perspective, I think you also gave us, an idea about a sound footing for life. What you just mentioned is so true. I mean, to be able to navigate this process, you need to have a moral compass, which is directing true north, as you rightly mentioned at the beginning. So, as long as the moral compass is guiding you to your true north, everything else will be there as well. So, thank you for your time, being so generous with it, and with your answers being so open and elaborate. I wish we could have more time, but then that's one commodity which is always an adequate supply. I won't say short supply, but thanks for making the best of the 1 hour and 8 minutes that I got with you. Thank you so much, and I hope to have
Thank you,
more
Vipul.
conversations with you
Vipul,
soon.
yeah, thank you. And I think maybe we can interact some other time. Okay, maybe after a couple of months. But thank you for having me. I think it was a great opportunity. I really enjoyed, and obviously I cannot stop thanking Thinkly because they have created such a beautiful platform for a like-minded people, sharing knowledge, curating knowledge. Okay, bringing people who can talk some sense, okay, and adding value to the community so that
Correct.
all of them can thrive and really carve their way out. So thank you so much. Thank you
Awesome,
so much.
Vijay. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you. Bye bye.